Stocks are up about 1% on Thursday. Here to talk to me about that move and what the heck is going on with equities right now is Brian Barnier of ValueBridge Advisors. Brian, thanks for being back in.
Glad to be here.
So Brian, 1% increase on Thursday. We had a 2% decrease before. We saw last week back-to-back days of an increase and a decrease of 1%. How are investors supposed to make anything in these markets right now?
Well, a lot of this is coming from the emerging markets as well as trying to play with the macro data. The thing that people have to understand is that this macro data is very tentative stuff. We've got the labor productivity number out this morning, very interesting number, very important, deep cycle in the economy. We've got more jobs data coming out, but remember, stop. Only about a fifth of these post-recession are statistically significant, and that doesn't count the other types of errors. So don't get freaked out by those, look at the trends.
Sure. Now, we have big jobs report data coming out on Friday, the January jobs report, looking at about 180,000 jobs added. But is this the important labor statistic that we should be focusing on?
This is where we want to go deeper. Remember, the Fed themselves talks about being data-driven, and they report a whole bunch of metrics. So we want to get to pieces like that productivity number. We want to look at real wages and salaries. That's very important. Real average hourly earnings, weekly earnings, that kind of stuff, because that's going to be driving up the wages and salaries. That's going to show us more deep cycle economic health.
So when we take a deeper look at those numbers, that gives us a sense of whether we're seeing the proper improvement, the kind of improvement we expect in previous recoveries than right now, of course.
Yeah, and we have to allow for the differences of those. And where that bridges then into what an investor does is they want to look at those companies that are driving the economy. So it's where are they doing top line revenue growth if they're going to be in that segment. And when you do like the Zacks report to scatter plot the data, you got all these dividend payers over here, all these growth companies over here, and then the stuff in the middle you want to stay away from. So look for that kind of stuff as a good strategy for the retail investor. If they want some upside, if you want the protection, go for the dividends.
Okay. Brian Barnier, as always, great to have you in studio.
Thank you.
That's Brian Barnier for TheStreet. I'm Joe Deaux.